Argentina with football, and United States with American football. This is the example of sport that become a center of nation identity. As an opposition set of the house, what we want is to stay in the status quo, where lots of sport become a national identity. Before going on to my argument, first let me do my rebuttal. First, the government side of the house stated that how sport are deeply inaccessible and only old wealthy people control it. We say that no, sport is actually very accessible. Why? Because like people who watch it, people who enjoy it come from like different kinds of like racial background and different kinds of economical background, hence why it is actually a very accessible thing to do. Not only that, people who play the sport actually come from like different kinds of racial background. For example, like in Europe there are lots of like African player, right? So there is the example why sport is actually very accessible. Second, they stated that there are lots of racism in like sport, but we say that no, it's not. Why? Take a look at the example in Indonesia, where like lots of athletes are actually like Chinese. But what is happen? There is like there is like very little racism for those players. And even if like racism actually happen, it's not because like they hate those players. Why? It is because they play very bad in like their own respective sport. Third, they stated about like how sport took lots of money for stadiums is better for like parks and community center. Here's the thing: stadium is actually a community center. Why? Because it is a place where lots of people gather and watch a play, a place where like lots of people come and then bonding together. So this is why stadium is actually a part of community center, and how actually building stadiums are actually a very good thing to do. Third, they stated about how sport competition are a way for government to hide their problems. We said that it's not, and I will explain it later on my argument. So going on to my argument. First, bonding. We have to understand why people love sport at the very first place, right? People love sport because why? Uh, it is very cheap. Second, people from all kinds of economy, racial backgrounds could enjoy it. And third, it's a lightweight thing to watch, right? It is very cheap when like you can just go to a cafes and then order like 5,000 rupiahs coffee and then enjoy the show together with all your friends and like all the people in the cafes. This is why it is actually like it is actually a way to bond like lots of people. Why? Because of its accessibility, and people love sport and how sport is actually like very lightweight to watch. People love it, and when people love it, it is easy for them to bond. Why? It is easy it is really easy for you to like bond to like be friends with people who have the same love for thing as you, right? For example, when they love football, it is very easy for you who actually like footballs to be friends with them. This is why bonding will happen, right? What is the benefit of this bonding? First, it will unite people. Understand that because people are already bonding, when their team they will when their team win, they will feel happy. When their team lose, they will feel sad. So the emotion will become one. The emotion will become united. They will feel united, and when they feel united, there will be less conflict. Why? Because of like this feeling, people actually will not really care about their racial background and their economic background. What they care is like whether or not my team actually win tonight or not. This is what they care, not like are you from this kind of race, are you from this kind of like economical background. Hence why like less conflict will happen. Why? Because like issues like racism and like issues like social difference could be solved by sport. Comparatively in government, bonding will not happen. Why? Because like issue will with racism and like issue with like because issue like racism have no solve. Why? Because there is nothing that can bond people together. Like there is nothing that can bond people from like different economical background and different racial background to be together. That is why actually by this is why actually sport could be a really really good way for you to bond with someone, and how uh, and and how it will overcome issues such as racism, right? Second, a way to make people aware of a societal problems. Corruption in Indonesian football team jersey. This is one of the case where sport actually blow up uh, a pretty bad things that government do. Understand that when like those kind of when like government wanted to buy jersey for the national football, what national football team, what happened is lots of company lobby for the government. Lobbying in this means that they do corruption, and because of these, and because of like when the jersey come out, people are aware of like how ugly it is, how like the materials are very very cheap. This is why they know that it is a corruption. Why? Because why would government uh, buy a very very ugly jersey at the very first place? This is actually a rebuttal for the government cases about sport hide government problems. Sport actually make government problems, for example, like corruption, actually come to the surface. And what is the benefit when like people are aware of these kind of things, right? First, there's like issue for the government to fix those kind of problems. Understand, because like people aware of this kind of like rampant corruption and like government, people will obviously pressure for the government to become better. They will pressure the government to like do better, to not be corrupt anymore. Why? Because they actually really really care of their team. They really really care how their team look like on the fields, right? This is the thing that will unite them to like actually giving pressure for the government to fix the problem. Comparatively, in opposition, this kind of thing will not happen. Why? Because there is no actual event that will like bring them together. There will be like no actual event that will make something like such as this kind of thing surface, become to come to the surface. Hence, why things like pressure for the government to fix problem will not happen. And even if it is happen, it's will not be like a very very urgent thing to do. Why? Because like there is like no actual incentive for them to actually pressure government, other than like my yeah there will not be like an actual like incentive that unite them together, so that they really want to change it. And like that is why this kind of like change in like government will happen less in government side of the house. That is why uh, uh, sport could be like a way to make people aware of societal problems and its benefit. That is from me. Thank you.